I stole an RX bar from the bodega.
You're new, but you're already...
Which is like a granola bar, a protein bar. It's called the RX bar. 3 egg whites.
Is it the one that has like the ingredients listed big on the front? Yeah.
3 egg whites, 6 almonds, 4 cashews, 2 dates. No BS. Very clever marketing person.
So clever.
Marketing guru. I've got it. Let's just keep it real with the people. We'll list the ingredients so it's transparent. We'll gain their trust through that, and then we'll tell them, no BS. We're on your side.
Because when I look at stuff like that and I think, this is a bunch of BS. Wait a minute. Last ingredient, no BS.
Yeah, I worked at a place where there were rules, and one of the rules was, don't be an asshole, and it was plastered on the wall.
I mean, I think stuff, when things are on a wall like that, plastered places, it just becomes literally just part of the wallpaper, you know?
Yeah,
you don't pay attention to that stuff anymore.
It's trying too hard, I feel.
Yeah.
And if you were a potential client coming in, you saw that on the wall, I'm like, okay.
I think it's more like, don't be that sort of mentality needs to be part of the corporate culture. And that comes from the people in middle management and the people above them. It comes from management.
Well, I think for a while, corporate culture would never allow you to say something like, don't be an asshole. So this was
I know,
a way.
now they're like, aren't we cool and chill? We're saying asshole.
Well, this was the way for the smaller company to set themselves apart from the corporate nature of
I see.
most of these other companies you may work with.
Corporate nazione.
Yeah, and then they've all gotten into it, including RX Bar. No BS.
Ooh, did you enjoy it? Why did you steal it?
I don't know, because I had already
It's
ordered.
your new bodega. You're supposed to like be gaining a relationship with them.
The prices are higher.
Oh,
They're higher. I don't like it. The prices are higher. No, I know it's absolutely ridiculous to be stealing a $3 granola bar. It's not granola.
Especially since you're so rich.
Here's the thing. It has 0 granola in it. To call it a granola bar is inaccurate.
I know it doesn't because it's not listed on the list of ingredients.
But everything is just lumped in now. The other day it was very crowded, and I got a seltzer, and it was $1.75, and I just threw $2, and I said, you owe me a quarter, and I left because I didn't want to wait for the other people who are fumbling with their credit cards. So technically, I only stole $2.75,
All right.
not $3.
So just over time, keep giving them $2 for seltzers until it adds up to the bar.
Yeah, it'll catch up. That's why I did it. You're right. I knew that I'd be in that situation again, that it would all even out at some point. I'm not a bad person.
Yeah, who carries change?
I'm not a bad person. I was planning.
Sure. I've kind of stopped stealing.
Good. Your life is changing, I guess.
It is. I was bored.
You're not.
That's what my therapist said when I admitted to her that I was stealing stuff. She was like, maybe you're bored. I was like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, did you steal before you moved? Did you steal when you lived in Atlanta?
No.
So that was a new thing for you. See, that theft show that we did, Stealing, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
So long ago. I have a long history of it for whatever reason. And maybe I'm bored too. I don't think mine's boredom. Mine's more sticking it to the man. But, you know.
I don't have that.
Stealing from the bodega goes against that because they're not the man. It's just a local small business. And I didn't feel good about it.
Okay.
But I didn't want to wait for the change because I'd already placed the order and then I would have had to get back in line. And I didn't. I didn't want to go through the process again. That's how I justified it. Still wrong. Still wrong.
Still wrong.
But you being bored.
Yeah.
It is. Could you imagine getting caught stealing from Target?
I know.
How embarrassing it would be. I thought about this if I'm walking out like, hey, I forgot.
Yeah, but you just say that and they'll be like, oh, all right. And you're like, yeah, I'll pay for it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I know, but it's still embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was at Target the other day and thought about doing the self-checkout swiping thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting a trash can and I thought I can hide stuff in the trash can and
yeah. That's too much of a actually stealing thing.
Oh, I forgot.
You know what I mean? That's like hiding stuff in your coat.
Yeah, I forgot I had $80 worth of goods in the trash can.
This video game, I forgot that I just put it in the trash can because I was carrying it.
I used to steal, computer games and programs all the time.
Really?
Pirate Bay.
Oh, well, that's not stealing.
That's totally stealing.
I know. It just doesn't feel like it.
Napster was stealing.
It's annoying when things aren't available. You're like, what the fuck? I can't watch Clue anywhere, not even online for free. So it's like, all right, well, I'm going to pirate it. So make it available next time.
Yeah, and that's a bit different. I guess it's not any different.
I think you can watch Clue places. I'm just using it as an example. So don't anybody comment and like, here's a place where you can get Clue.
Yeah, I feel like movies streaming them for whatever reason, it's not different. It's in the same category. But in my mind, it's like, yeah, well, you're not offering Clue to me. So what do you expect me to do?
Yeah. Listen, if I was really desperate enough, I'd pay the $2.99 on Amazon Prime. Even though I pay for Amazon Prime, I still have to pay for the rentals sometimes, which is annoying. But yeah, if I was desperate, then I would watch it there. But if I can't, then it's like, well, then what am I supposed to do? Not watch that movie?
Which, by the way, do you pay?
That's ridiculous.
Do you pay for Amazon Music because apparently that's included with the price of Prime?
It is, but not unlimited. So I was finding I'm a stickler for like the original versions of songs. Like if I hear, like I think Squeeze did a recreation almost exactly like as close to the original album as they could. And it was the Tempted by the Fruit of Another. It was that song. And I would ask to hear that song and I would hear it and know that it was different. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I'd look it up and I'd be like, this is Squeeze. This is what this is. And then I realized the album was the new album that they were recreating. And even though it's the same band, the same singer, the same people, all the same instruments, they were trying to make it sound exactly the same. I knew it wasn't it. And the original song was available on Amazon Unlimited Music. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm paying for Amazon Unlimited Music because I'm tired of not being able to hear that. Or just a random other song to be like, the song blah, blah, blah is not available on your plan to upgrade.
That's the song that got you to pay for Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Which the song that makes me think of Tidy Whities.
Why?
Because Fruit of the Loom. It's a terrible, weak connection. But whenever I hear that song, I think of Fruit of the Loom underwear.
Tempted by the fruit of... Okay.
And that just is in my head and I can't get rid of it.
Oh, I love that song.
But
it's not my conscience that hates to be untrue.
I just think of a man with a bit of a gut and his tight white undies.
Eric wears tidy whities.
Yeah, I know. I actually was thinking of him when I just said that.
Why does he do that? How can you be sexy? How can you feel sexual in those?
Do you think he's ever tried to feel sexy or sexual?
Well, he must. He probably gets, like horned up. And then he has to pull his boner out of his white, tidy whities. Ooh, gross.
Yeah, but I think his view of it was he's feeling horned up, but it's not his job to present himself as sexy.
Oh.
He's just, this is here. This is the dynamic between men and women.
Yeah.
I get turned on. I whip it out of my tidy whities.
And that's it.
The end.
And now you sit on it. Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ.
Woo!
This week's topic will be a doozy.
Wow! Party!
I had suggested socks part 2.
Which made me laugh.
Which
I thought, well, is he serious?
One of our most storied episodes. People loved it. Which is, I don't know if that's the truth. I do feel like the numbers for socks was lower than other episodes, which is a shame. That means people don't trust us.
Yeah. Maybe a lot of people have a lot of sock trauma, so they don't want to be triggered.
Just because on the surface, socks seems like a boring topic, you should say, you know what? I trust them. I'm giving it a chance. I'm going to listen. There'll be something worthwhile here, at least something entertaining enough to hold my attention. I'm not going to be thinking about that episode for the rest of the day. It's not going to live anywhere in my brain permanently, but there was enough in it. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed it. But I don't know.
Not today.
I don't know if that was the case. So Socks 2 was scrapped. The reason I wanted to do Socks 2, by the way, is because I counted the number of socks I have, the pair of socks. since I
Because
just,
you just moved.
I just moved and I realized I don't have like they're taking up so many drawers. I had a drawer and a new dresser. I was like, that's plenty, and it was filled, and there were so many socks. I have 100 pair of socks exactly.
Do you have a lot of repeats?
There's some socks that I like that I've ordered twice,
Yeah.
but for the most part, no.
Because
I
it
have a-
seems like someone with that many pairs of socks would be a sock person. And it's not like you're always wearing like crazy socks.
No, I went through a phase where I wore not insanely crazy socks, not these bright neon colors with abstract shapes or anything. But there was a period where, a plain white sock I don't like. I'm not going to wear this.
Oh, no.
A little ankle sock, a booty sock. I don't like those. I know they have a purpose, but I don't wear shorts, so I don't need them. And, my interest in socks extends beyond that, where I have some socks that I've chosen because they meet some kind of criteria. But
Okay.
it's not like I'm a sock person totally.
Yeah. But
And-
yet you still have 100 pairs of socks.
Well, before I was only doing laundry once a month because I would just drop it off at the cleaners and they would wash and fold my laundry. And
Still, that's at most 60, right? Because if you're wearing them for like a month,
30.
I'm sorry, if you wear new socks, no, but if you wear new socks every 30 days, right? And then you send them to the cleaners or to the laundry, and then they're sitting folded in that bag for another month. I think at the max you'd have 60.
Yeah, max. It's still insane as far as
Still a lot.
the sock number goes. But I was going through the socks and the stupid sentimental thing kicked in again. There's some socks that
Right.
are brand new that I've never worn, but I thought maybe one day I'll wear these. Or somebody gifted me some socks that I don't like so much, but I think those were nice. That was a nice thought. I don't want to get rid of it. Throwing this out is like throwing that person out. So I keep the socks. And, now that I have access to a washer and dryer and laundry is being done on a much regular basis, there are socks that I prefer. And I've moved away from the thinner synthetic materials, even though they had nicer designs. Now we actually are talking about socks. This won't go on for too much longer, I promise. But it was just on top
People
of my
are
mind.
already unsubscribing.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait until they hear the actual topic, even though they already know what it is because it's listed. Yeah, but with now that there's the socks that I prefer that I'm leaning into and they're being washed more often, they're going to be worn. And I'm never going to get to some of these socks, but I can't bring myself to throw them out.
You should practice throwing them away and then realizing that you don't end up throwing the person away.
No,
The person still exists. The memory of that person still exists. All of it.
these are nice socks. And look, if people want to buy my, maybe
Or
I should.
donate them.
I'm going to sell my socks.
Sellmysocks.org.
I was thinking there's someone, look, if they were your socks, people would be buying them. So what I need to do is take my socks, send them to you. You can wear them.
Mm-hmm.
You wear them for a day or two,
Take a cute pic of them.
and then you sell them. So then
Okay.
people get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Owned by Greg, worn by Autumn.
That's our brand.
Sold to you for a discount.
That's actually, I can see that in a Target.
Yeah.
Owned by Greg, worn by Autumn. It's our clothing line.
Yeah.
All right, we can give it a go.
All right.
But now that
Maybe
we're,
it should be like FUBU, it'd be like WG, no, OGWA.
Agua.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agua socks. What's Agua stand for?
Owned by Greg. You have to
Yeah.
I sneak that in since it doesn't have a letter for it. All right, we can give that a go. We'll see. I'll go through. It's going to be very difficult. I like my socks. I don't want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
There's too much junk.
They want to be worn.
They do need to be
Think
worn.
about
They
the
wanna be.
personality of the sock.
I know the sock's just sitting there, but the sock, at least not being worn, is a better option than being in a landfill.
You know what just gave me the chills? It just gave me a very uncomfortable feeling. I was going to tell you to take a pair of socks, throw one away in one trash can and throw another away in a different trash can. Not in your home, but like on the street. That just makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, separating the socks, you can't handle it.
No, because you assign memory and meaning to objects and I assign personality to objects. So breaking up the pair of socks that are meant to be together.
It's what people do to puppies. They rip them apart. Like the socks are siblings in this case.
Yeah, yeah.
And people do that with puppies.
Twins.
The puppies are born together. They live together a little bit, and someone comes and says, "I want you," and they take
Yeah.
it. And then the other one gets picked last ultimately.
Oh.
The runt or the ugly one, the one whose eye is a little crooked.
Right. Oh, it has a funny gait.
And,
I'm
yeah,
not going to buy this high breed of a puppy.
this dog won't get me any trophies.
Mm-hmm.
It deserves to die.
Its shoulder width is 2 centimeters too narrow.
This is what happens, which is a whole other topic. But anyway, so this week's topic, pens.
I told my dad, he was like, "So, what are you talking about tonight?" I was like, "Pens." He was like, "Pens? PENS?" I was like,
Yeah, pens. Why not?
I have a great affinity for pens.
I do too. So the reason that I thought of pens after I said socks 2.0, just as mundane as socks, but it's an object that everybody has some familiarity with. I guess they're used less and less these days, but people know a pen. They've experienced a pen. And I also have quite a collection of pens, and pens I didn't throw away. Also in the move, pens that I know don't write. Pens that are tied to a hotel. When I went to Philadelphia in 2008 to my cousin's wedding, I enjoyed that, and I keep the pen from the hotel. And it does. So there's a whole collection of pens also, so it's similar, and that's why I thought pens. But
Sure.
but I'm particular with my pens. There's very specific pens that I like, and
Not just for how they write, but for how they chew.
well, that is very important. It's pen
That's
I
why you
have.
like those Bics.
Well, the Bic depends. This is a Bic round stick in my hand right now. And there's the softer plastic. It's a little more malleable, I guess. And those chew very well. There's a harder plastic. And I feel like Bic makes the harder plastic too. Those aren't
Yeah,
good.
I think, don't they make the ones that have the like octagon sort of shape around them? It has like
those. Yeah, that's a totally different plastic too. So there's that
Yeah.
plastic will splinter. That just
the yeah,
cracks.
and that's dangerous, like glass.
It cracks and shoots off. And then there's a harder plastic that doesn't quite splinter, but it's bad for your teeth. I guess it's all bad for your teeth. I do chew the hell out of pens.
You do. And lids, right? The caps.
Bottle caps.
Oh, bottle caps, not maybe. So Tim Andrews will chew up a cap of a pen.
Oh, the cap of a pen.
Yeah.
You're talking about that. Yes, I chew those too.
Oh,
and
okay.
and the little plastic pieces that come out. So in the back of the pen, you've got that stopper.
That little lid, that little like cap.
Yeah, that stopper, that cap thing. I pull that out and chew it. And then the lid, ultimately, a lot of the times has a little piece of plastic on the top that you can rip off, and I'll chew on that because pens have the hole in the caps,
Right.
which I think is made for that reason. There's
I don't know.
there's an idea that they'd also protect, like if you're putting a pen in your pocket, you don't want the roller ball, or if it's a fountain pen or whatever, you don't want it coming in contact with any fabrics because then the ink could seep out into the fabric.
But then why does it have the hole in the cap?
But yeah,
It has to do with air, I'm sure. Like air getting to the.
air usually dries things out. Some people say that the hole in the cap there is in case you swallow it and you don't
That
die.
can't be real, though.
Well, let me
God forbid we Google it.
Let me do a quick search on that pen cap hole. Don't
Cap hole.
choke. That's how you
That's
do it.
confirmation bias when you Google it like that.
All right, here you go. Here, Business Insider, a trusted source. Here's the surprising reason why pen caps have a small hole at the top. You might want to stop chewing on your pen caps anyway. Pen caps have a small hole to prevent choking if swallowed and to equalize the pressure inside the pen to keep it from leaking. So,
I bet you it's that more than the swallowing thing.
yeah, because you shouldn't be chewing. I agree with you. You shouldn't be chewing on the cap.
They didn't put a mechanism in there because thousands of people were choking on pen caps.
But I assume a lot of people do chew on them. It's nice.
Well, it was pencils. Remember, people were always chewing on a pencil,
Ugh.
which I never understood.
That I can't do.
Yeah,
That's just the thought of that is disgusting.
yeah.
Wood. I got some ice cream the other day. I had one of those wooden spoons.
Oh, oh,
I'm cringing right now.
God, I hate those. That's why I can't do popsicle sticks. Like I hold on, like if I have a popsicle, I'll take the wrapper and I'll wrap it around the stick. And then once I get to the part of the popsicle that starts tasting like the wood, I want to die.
Exactly.
Ugh. I know. And then I would see my nightmare was walking around high school and seeing people who have had a popsicle previously and they're just still like walking around with it on the side of their mouth. Gives me the chills.
Yeah, it looks like the choking thing. Sorry to jump back to this. I was looking. It looks like that's a real part of it. Closing the pen cap. This makes sense. If there wasn't that hole there, the air would provide resistance as you're trying to close it.
Okay.
So having that there allows it to just slide on and off easily.
Okay.
But this choking thing keeps getting listed. Well, whatever it is. I think it's so much better than gum, because gum you have to throw out at some point or swallow. This you just throw it back on your desk and there it is.
Yeah, but then it's yucky. It's sitting there yucky. All wet.
These S gel pens are the ones that I like on. These aren't good to chew on. I don't actually chew on these. I'm holding them up so you can see them, but people can't.
Oh, those are a Sharpie.
Yeah, it's a Sharpie pen, but the S gel.
Yeah, those any gel is. See, for me, it's all about, because I don't have the chewing thing. It's all about how it writes and how it feels. Like waiters that have really good pens, when they give you the bill to sign, I'm like, ooh, this is a good one. It's really hard for me not to just steal it.
Well, when you say that, what's a good pen? A fountain pen? A rollerball pen?
No, those are crispy, crunchy, weird, and horrible. Fountain pens are horrible. I like, my favorite pen in high school were those Pentel. Those ones that are like clear all the way through, but they have like a rubbery thing to hold on to. And then the cap has like a little ball at the top.
Yeah.
Like on the top of it. Medium point, always medium point. I would be pissed when I accidentally got I bought like the fine point at Kroger or something. Like, oh man, fine point. Yeah, those were the ones I used throughout high school. They're my favorite.
So you had a signature pen. I can't remember what pen I used in high school. And I don't know if I know that pencils were required in math class.
Oh yeah, and you had to have a number 2 pencil because of the Scantrons. That was such a big deal.
Well, that was because the number 2 there's a certain darkness to it. A number 1's darker. And I guess it's too dark.
Where can I get a number 1? I feel like there's never been any other type of pencil that's been available to me besides a number 2.
Well, I think a number 1's darker, so you can't read with the Scantron. A number 3 or above 2 or whatever is lighter, but it's also stronger, so you can write. People who are drafting architectural plans or something, if they're not using a computer program. They tend to like those because you could really press down, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well,
but yeah, the number.
I feel
2.
like it's more of like an artistic thing rather than a school thing. I just feel like schools need to stop calling it a number 2 pencil and just say pencil. Everybody knows what you mean.
Is it even the case anymore? Do they even use...
No one's bringing like a charcoal pencil to like, will this work?
Do they have lead, by the way? And I know we all know it's graphite, but apparently it was always graphite. It wasn't ever a lead pencil. So never in the history. Like I used to think, I know it's graphite. We still say lead, but that's because at some point apparently they never used lead. It was just...
Why is it called that
misnomer.
Then? Oh.
I was like, hey, yeah, it's kind of, it's like lead. I don't know. But did you have a kid in school? Do they make her use Scantrons at this point? She's young. I don't know if they're
not
doing
yet.
Scantrons.
She just got out of first grade, and it was all mostly virtual through the year. So.
But I assume at this point they're going to be doing a bunch of their tests online or something, or computer based, and
yeah, maybe. I mean, there were a lot of like. Do you remember all the mythology around Scantrons where it's like, oh, if you put chapstick down the sides, those little black squares down the side, then it slides through and gives you 100.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so ridiculous the things kids would come up with. Like if you if you were swinging, you went over the crossbar. In the playground, you turn it inside out.
Mm-hmm, but that's real.
But you can't do it. It's impossible to do. Mythbusters has proven that you can't do it without some kind of extra propellant.
Yeah.
You need propulsion. You need propulsion to push you over. So That aside, yeah. Did anyone ever try it though with the Scantron? If anything, I would assume it just wouldn't read it if you put chapstick all over it.
Yeah, it would just be like, meow, like error.
Yeah, I fooled the system. And also,
Yeah, if it's like so messed up that it slips through and doesn't grade anything, why would it stop at the end where it's like and 100? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was nobody who ever tried that out. Nobody ever actually tested it. I don't know where.
I
it
don't
came
think
from.
anyone ever did, but there was always like folklore about it.
Yeah, it was just some bullshit that someone made up.
Yeah.
Back to pens, though. I was going to look. There was a pen the one that I tried to stick to. I don't know if it was what was it? Because there was a period I dabbled in drawing, and I was okay at it, actually.
Cool.
And I found a lot of these sketches I did from elementary school. And they were maybe
really?
Maybe it was early. Well, it was probably 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and then I gave up on it. But there was a rollerball pen with a very fine, like the pen part.
Yeah.
What's the name of the rollerball? It does have a name.
I thought it was just a rollerball.
No, it has a name,
Oh.
and it's gonna bother me. It's a nib. It's a nib.
Oh. Nib.
Anyway,
I thought that was what the end of your shoelaces are called, that plastic part.
maybe that's also called that too.
Yeah.
But there was where the nib was, the stem above it was just as thin. And these were great drawing pens. I should have looked this up before, but I forgot all about that pen. And that was the one that I tried to stick to. It was an expensive pen.
It's called an aglet, by the way.
What?
The little plastic thing at the end of your shoelaces.
No, an aglet. So not a nib.
No. But still, just as obscure. See, I don't like those fine tips of anything.
Wait, here it
because
is.
it's so scratchy. It feels like I'm carving into the paper as opposed to like really writing on it.
Yeah, this was a cartridge pen, and it had all these ridges that kind of ran up. It was cool looking. If you look up right now, a V5 High Tech Point cartridge system pen, V5 High Tech Point. Is that what these were called, though? V5 High Tech.
Oh, they're cheap.
No, those aren't cheap. What are you talking about? It's a cheap pen. It's $6.75 for a pen, for one pen,
Oh, it is?
for one pen.
I see them on eBay. They're cheap.
eBay. But anyway,
Yeah.
there was a Pilot. Here's the Pilot Precise V5. This was it. That's the one. I loved this pen. This the design, the aesthetic of it. Look at this thing. I encourage
love it.
I encourage everyone right now to look up the Pilot Precise V5 rollerball pen. This is the way to go. Even though I moved to,
0.5 millimeter.
it was good for drawing. I enjoyed
Yeah.
drawing with it, and then I would use it in school when I scribbled down my notes with my awful handwriting. And this is one thing. The reason I keep pens and I continue to buy pens is I have this idea that I'm going to always have one on me with a little notebook, and I'm going to write down ideas and things that I say. And I never fucking do it, because when I do, I look at it later and I'm like, that was a dumb idea. Then I'm embarrassed. What was that noise?
How sad.
Why?
It was a dumb idea. I bet you it wasn't a dumb idea.
Nah, there's a record of it. It's available for someone else to find if they came into my apartment, because I also don't throw things away. So the bad ideas are still written down, and that's why I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
I also feel as though maybe it's a little pretentious. I'm going to get my notebook in my back pocket, and I'm going to write this thing down. You can also do it easily on your phone these days, so it's not as needed.
That's true. I do have like a long list of notes in my phone that are like, what is all this stuff?
Yeah, because you're using some kind of shorthand and broken sentences, and you're like, I'll remember it. I'll remember what I meant by this. And
And I'll know because I'm me, but
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, just this little bit will jog my memory, and whatever was in my brain at the time will surely come shooting back.
You know what else I love? What kind of pens I love? The felt tip. And that includes like the Papermate, the ones that have like the solid color and then the little white like X at the top. You know what I'm talking about? That when you spin it inside, it spins that little X.
I know a felt tip pen, but this spinning X system
Yeah.
isn't ringing any bells.
I don't have one here. I have an orange one floating around that I love. It's in the house somewhere.
The felt tip, it requires a lot of maintenance. If the cap's
Why?
not put on that thing, it dries out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But you just put the cap on.
And sometimes you forget you're in a rush.
Sharpies, right? They're felt tipped.
Sharpies are, yes.
Yeah, I love a Sharpie. I think with the felt tips, the thing I like the most is that they come in a package and they'll have like a ton of colors. You know, like you can go to the grocery store or to the craft store or something and just like get a big thing for $20 of every color.
I'm smelling my Sharpies. I'm also listening to you, but you brought up Sharpies and I pulled out the 2 Sharpies I have and I was just taking big whiffs.
How do they smell? Smell good?
I love this smell.
Another thing was Travis's dad sells cars. I know this is a weird way to go, but Travis's dad sells, like, he buys cars at auction and fixes them and sells them and stuff. And his car auction place that he goes to the most always gave out pens. And they are the softest, best pens ever. And I asked for so many of them. I was like, give me, next time you go, get all the pens. And so I still have like maybe like 5 floating around the house. And I love them so much. I don't want them to die. I never want them to go away. And they actually, the auction switched and they switched the type of free pen that they were giving out. And people complained and they went back to the original because everybody loves these pens.
What kind is it? Do you know the model?
I don't. It's just like some basic pens.com. Pens.com.
So
You
go
know,
on
with like their
Pens-
name on it. You know, the Greater Milwaukee Auto Auction.
Well, you should get
What's it on
some.
it?
You should go design some one topic branded pens with that model,
Okay.
and then we won't sell them because we don't do stuff like that.
Oh, but maybe we will.
No one's gonna go buy a one topic pen.
Why not?
Get out of here.
You don't think they would?
Maybe if I chewed on it, somebody would want to buy it.
Chewed by Greg.
Then somebody would.
That's your pen corporation. CBG. CBG. For some reason, that one you keep the B in there.
I don't think we're big enough for merchandising, and it just is embarrassing and sad when you don't sell a thing, and you're like, we have all this, and nobody buys anything, and then you realize that you're nothing.
We're nothing.
I already know that I'm nothing, but I don't need it rubbed in, is all I'm saying.
Oh, I could buy 100 for $89.
All right, well, because I'm rich, as you say, I will.
Yeah.
I will.
You pay for it.
I'll give you $89 to make some one topic pens.
Okay.
Which I agree with you. You saying that you like this quality pen that came from Travis's dad. There's such a range and different writings. Like a fountain pen I've never liked. I don't like the way it feels against the paper.
It's also scratchy and horrible.
And that was the point of the ballpoint pen, is it was a smoother
Yeah.
writing. Like
Who wants that? Who wants that? Listen, unless you're doing like calligraphy, you know, and you're like adjusting your pressure because of different writing styles of calligraphy, then get out of here with your scratchy ass writing pen. Who wants that?
I mean, I'm sure that there are people, like you said, who have specific reasons for it. Outside of my little stint in drawing, I've never had much thought put into what a pen can provide when it's writing, other than I like the way this feels.
Oh my gosh.
But
What about those? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say the different purposes. I don't know the different purposes. I just know that a rollerball pen is a smooth motion. It usually provides a consistent amount of ink. Though apparently the ones that aren't retractable can dry out, which I didn't know that. But if they're retractable, they're oil based and they don't dry out.
Do you ever lick your pen
No,
tip?
no, that just feels like it would dilute the ink and ruin things.
I do it if like the pen's not writing and you do that scribbly and you write and nothing's coming out and then I lick the pen and I try again.
Now you roll
it's
it. You
weird
roll it
sometimes
between
on-
your hands.
Oh, really? That's the professional way.
I don't. That was a trick. That I don't know if that works either. It's probably
What's
the same
the
as
deal too where you like your pen isn't working on just a portion of your paper and then you move over to another part and then it works? What is that?
I don't. It does that. Usually, I move to a different part because I want to scribble it, and I'm. If you're trying to write in a very specific part of the paper, you probably want to write something. Which, by the way, most people when they test a pen, they write their name.
Oh,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I
do
don't.
that. Yeah. What do you do?
I scribble. Or make like loops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I do. I think I also scribble. Or I write some random word like power switch or Polish.
Polish?
Yeah, Polish for whatever reason was when I used to test the internet to see if it was working.
Yeah.
I would go to the search bar or the URL bar and just type in Polish and press enter.
Weird. Why?
I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
I don't like those pens that you get at like companies where there's a light at the end. You know, like there's like a little flashlight at the end. What the heck is that for? Nobody cares about your stupid. Have you ever been anywhere and you're like, oh man, I can't see. Let me find that pen.
Yeah, well, at some point it becomes novelty, right?
Yeah, to remember it, I guess. It's like, oh, it's that place.
Yeah, the pen serves a very specific purpose, and you had, a quill at some point that you had to dip into ink, and then you had the fountain pen.
Talk about scratchy. That's like all over your parchment or something.
Yeah, your papyrus.
Yeah,
But you had to have a lighter touch, and I think honestly one of the things my handwriting is so bad is I probably do press down too hard, and that may be part of the reason. If I lightened up a bit, maybe I should switch to a quill. And then the fountain pen, as we already said, is the same, and that was the progression. You had the fountain pen where the reservoir was in the pen, so you didn't have to continue to dip it, and that was nice. And then the roller ball.
But then those would like spill out, right?
They could spill.
That's why pocket protectors were invented.
Yeah, I mean, the cartridges that go into rollerball pens, I guess, and I do chew on them quite a bit. They don't tend to leak out or spill, so it's a nice design. But we're talking about the flashlight. So, at some point there are practical evolutionary changes to a pen. And then you get to the point of, what else can we do? It's all kind of been figured out.
Oh, let's put a stylus at the end of this pen.
Yeah, that's... Well,
because I always go from writing on a piece of paper to needing to like use a stylus on something.
This is when you vote here in New York, this is what they give you. These are actually good pens, but it does have the stylus. Because
what? Who uses a stylus?
When you check in, you sign on an iPad. And so you sign with the stylus, and then you go vote with the same pen.
Well, that makes sense for like COVID, but is that how it's always been?
Well, I think it's probably outside of COVID. That's probably the progression of things. The way, at least here where you vote. I hear what you're saying. For the most part, you're not using a stylus for anything. Does it work on your phone? Can you use it? Let me check.
Yeah.
Let's see. Turn on
I think
the phone.
so.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should use a swipe up. It's actually kind of nice. I'm trying this right now.
You like it? I think I have a stylus in here.
And actually,
oh, yeah. It's just a stylus. It's not even a pen. It's just a stylus.
I don't hate this one as much as a flashlight because I do think that there are a lot of electronic devices that people have, and maybe a stylus.
Oh, this is kind of fun, actually.
See? It's not so bad.
But then you got to carry around a stylus.
Well, yeah. You can just put it in your pocketbook.
My pocketbook.
You can just keep it in there.
I don't carry a pocketbook.
That's the thing. No, I'm not going to use it on a regular basis.
It has a little like hole in the top of this stylus. It has like a place to clip it onto your something, like a little clip. And then it also has a hole. So like maybe I could put it on a string and wear it around my neck, and I'll always have a stylus. Maybe like as a teacher, if you're a teacher, you need to like...
That's a fancy one. That's a metal pen. This is, by the way, I've never invested in a nice pen.
This isn't a pen. This is the stylus. This is just a stylus.
No, that's just a stylus. I thought that was a dual purpose utensil. Because I've never wanted to replace the cartridge or, the ink's out. I love the pen so much. I like that idea. I'm certainly the kind of person who would get behind. I've had this pen for 50 years.
But you shit out of it, so you couldn't.
Well, if it were metal, I wouldn't chew on it. I'd probably try to. But I've never actually invested in a very nice pen. Because to me, it's done, the ink's done, I'll throw it out. And we'll get a new one. But to have a trusty pen, that would be nice. And I'm really getting behind the idea, and I want to look into an affordable pen.
Well, you could get the Patron of Art Homage to Napoleon Bonaparte limited edition 888 fountain pen for $9,200.
Why is it so much?
It's a Mont Blanc, which apparently it's a fountain pen. It's some of the most expensive pens, the Mont Blancs.
I know, but why? What is up with it?
It's platinum coated, Clip.
Yeah,
The
that's
barrel is blue lacquered barrel with AU 750 solid yellow gold skeleton grid on top. The cap is blue lacquered cap with AU 750 solid yellow gold skeleton again.
If you lose the thing,
I know.
then you feel bad. At least if you have an expensive watch, it's strapped to your wrist.
The Mont Blanc patron of art, homage to Napoleon Bonaparte, is dedicated to a figure in history whose life had a far-reaching impact.
Yeah, well, that's all bullshit.
Now it's a history lesson. Napoleon's glory lives on in the great architecture parlante style of the famous Paris. What? Shut up.
I mean, I knew the Mont Blanc was a fancy pen, and I'm looking these up now, and they're saying that pricey pens are more reliable, durable, and have better performance than any inexpensive pen. But
What you're paying for is like the mother of pearl embedding and the garnet, whatever. Like, you're not paying for the pen and the ink, right?
no, I think if I wanted to have something that I carried around with me, I would be too anxious about losing this thing. Because it's valuable at that point. If it has valuable metals in it.
Well, didn't that happen to George Stein, the DUI lawyer in Atlanta? He got a really expensive pen and then he immediately lost it.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens all the time.
Yeah, I think he left it at like a dinner. Like he signed a bill and he left it. It's the same way with sunglasses. I ain't buying no expensive sunglasses because I'm going to drop them and they're going to be, made of such a material that they break instead of made of durable crap plastic.
Well, at some point you weigh the options. What are you getting out of it for the higher price? And it doesn't, grow.
Probably just the label,
It doesn't stay in proportion.
Right.
Yeah, at some point you're just paying for the name and probably a better build. I don't deny that, and a little better materials, but if it say that it's like, okay, I got a $2 pen, and now this fancy one should be $50, but it's like $2, and what did you say that one cost?
Which one?
The pen, the most expensive pen.
$9,200.
Yeah, what the fuck are you getting out of it?
$9,000. At that point, it's just like a signal to others that, like, yeah, I got this pen. It's like the Birkin bag.
And also, what kind of cartridge did you put back in there to refill it? That $2 cartridge? Then it doesn't even matter. Also, who's gauging these things? We're so far removed from actual. Nobody looks at the quality of your writing in the ink and they say, "Oh my God, I can't trust this person. Look how cheap they are. This is some of the poorest, cheapest ink that I've ever come across in my life. If this was a Mont Blanc with it's fucking squid ink."
Yeah, you get to choose the perfect nib. You can choose the type of nib that you want.
I think
double broad, extra fine, fine, medium, oblique broad, oblique double broad, oblique medium. Wow, who knew there were so many things like this, like options?
Well, I was reading that you can get precious metal nibs, and something like gold is soft, so it changes to your writing style because everyone writes differently. The amount of pressure.
Interesting.
But I don't
Maybe
know.
you need that.
No, what are you getting? Again, this is an outdated thing. A pen still serves a purpose. I like the idea of a pen. I still romanticize the idea of writing things than just typing them in a phone and having a digital record. I like the idea of having that notebook, even if I say it's pretentious. Ultimately, to me, writing something, like notes for this show quite often, I prefer to write them down. Or at work, I prefer to write things and just type it somewhere and then refer to it.
I think that I retain the knowledge more when I hear it and write it.
Yeah, definitely. That's part of it.
Yeah, instead of texting or typing it or whatever. Because, I would write all my notes in school, like in college, and I didn't feel like I had to study as hard because it all came back to me. As I read through my notes, I would remember. Do you ever listen to a podcast and then you re-listen to it later and you remember a part of it and exactly where you were when you heard that previously?
No, but I don't listen to other podcasts.
Okay, well, with writing notes, I'll read through my notes and I'll remember the exact moment that I wrote that down and what was happening and what they were saying and what they were talking about. And so I feel like it's more of a recall for me as opposed to just typing it.
Yeah, you're engaged with it at that point. It's more active, so it does make sense that you're going to retain it a bit more.
And I do love practicing writing. Like, I don't know, starting out, starting to write, and you write really beautifully, and then near the end, it's like, blah, 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 like you get more relaxed. And I like to try and go back to it and like be more disciplined with it. I like writing.
I can't write nicely even when I try. Also, cursive, I have zero ability to write cursive anymore. I decided at some point early on, I remember we were learning cursive, and I thought, I like print. I prefer print. I'm going to write in print. I also dropped the tails. They remember they used to teach you tails. The T, put the little tail on it. The I. I just, nope, straight lines only. And
well, that's your font.
Yeah. It's very difficult for even me to read sometimes. My original point, though, is having, even though I have these ideas of using a pen and documenting things that come to my brain and possibly life. I mean, just a quick aside, too. If you're writing a diary or a journal, isn't it much better if it's handwritten than if you type the thing?
Absolutely, except if you're Doogie Howser.
Well, that was, he was ahead of the curve. He was ahead at the time. So at that point, not everyone was doing that. So that was a way to show that he was smart because he knew how to use a computer.
Right. And he was young and he was like typing away.
Yes. So, that doesn't hold up. It's not the same. When people in their live journals, which I know is not a thing like it once was, but people actually used to write in their live journals. And I guess some of it was on display, well, whatever your privacy settings were. But all that aside, to have a fucking fancy pen that's $9,000, it's not needed. You're living in the past. You're trying to sell people on something that nobody even cares or thinks about. Maybe at some point it was a status symbol. Other people were impressed. Look at my very expensive pen. You were in situations where you're pulling the pen out and you're writing, and other people were saying, no one cares now. So it doesn't.
I think that because we're not in that business world, that maybe, and that especially that like upper echelon of business owner, you know what I mean? Like not owners, but like, CEOs, CFOs of companies that wear a suit every day and have an office with like an ornate wood desk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they might notice somebody else's pen and be like, oh, is that the Mont Blanc? Yes.
It's all fabricated, though, at that point.
It is, but it's the same thing with Birkin bags. You know what I mean? Like a Birkin bag isn't, it's only worth what that's worth because it ends up being a symbol, of wealth. It's the same with Louboutin shoes, those red bottom shoes. It's not like they're made extra special. They don't have like, diamond insoles or something. They just have the red bottom, which symbols to you that this one shoe was, $500.
People are ridiculous.
And then the other one is also $500.
It's absolutely insane and asinine that it does exist. It clearly exists. Designer brands, again, you're getting better quality. I don't deny that. There is a quality that comes along with these things, but at some point it crosses over, it transcends.
Yeah, like a chart, right? Like if the chart was going up, the price was going up and the quality is going up, right? But then at some point it gets so high that the quality either plateaus or stays, goes back down.
Yeah, just because people say it's worth it and it's desirable and, it's not completely rare, but it's not accessible to everyone. So
that's what happened with Grey Goose vodka. Grey Goose vodka was like a regular ass vodka, but they were the first. They were the first ones to call themselves premium, and they made like a cool bottle, and they made it more expensive.
It was
and
the
that's
lobster.
all they did.
The lobster of vodkas. It used to be for poor people.
Absolutely.
Then it was marketed. Yeah, it shows you what bullshit marketing is. Which I guess if you're running a business, that's the value. It's like, hey, come in and lie and make people think something that's not the truth.
Yeah.
Convince them that this is much better than it really is, and help me make a lot of money. And let's put this out there in a way so people have to have it because it makes them better than other people in their own minds. I don't care about this.
I'll take my Greater Milwaukee Auto Auction pen. Thank you.
Although I'm with you. I would prefer to have a small composition book. Just a generic composition book and some crappy pen. And if I wrote my brilliance down and that's what got me recognized, that's the value. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, the thoughts. I know, and then it becomes part of the story too. And he just used a shitty pen. And then
Wow, a shitty pen? No
yeah,
way.
and then people like Mont Blanc, he couldn't use a shitty pen. And then they try to get you on board for their like. I looked up the most expensive pen ever made. It's a Diamante by Aurora, estimated at $1.3 million.
Why?
And then the second most expensive pen is the Mystery Masterpiece Fountain Pen by Mont Blanc and Van Cleef and Arpels, costing $730,000.
Oh. For some reason, that's more offensive than the million one.
Let's pull these up and see if I can get any information on. Oh, it's the ugliest fucking thing. This is the Van Cleef and Arpels Mont Blanc Mystery Masterpiece. The luxury houses of Van Cleef and Arpels celebrate the start of their second centuries with a collaborative one-cover created. What is this thing about? The result is a magnum opus. This is all flowery bullshit language. It's not telling me anything about it.
It's like on Seinfeld, the place that Elaine works.
What
You know, the Peterman catalog, where
Yes.
they really flower up the words to talk about, or, the language to talk about, like Ugg boots, basically.
It's an exquisite writing instrument.
I see it. Ew, it doesn't even look like you could hold it.
No, it looks like it would hurt your hand. It's an exquisite writing instrument for the mirror. But you still haven't told me. I'm two paragraphs into this and nothing. For the two houses, so the Van Cleef and Arpels and Mont Blanc, the two houses coming together in their first collaboration. I don't care. Tell me. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into something here.
Okay.
It's set with rubies and sapphires. It was released in 3 variations, set with either rubies, sapphires, or emeralds, and accented by diamonds. And there will only be 3 pieces of each design world. So there you go. You have some gems and some scarcity. And somebody somewhere is going to say this is totally worth it.
But that's annoying because that's like saying, I hate those things where it's like the most expensive sandwich in the world. And it's because it comes with like a whatever carrot bracelet as a side. Do you know what I mean? It's like the sandwich isn't it. It's the bracelet that's it.
And here's the Aurora.
So it's the same thing. You're paying for the 773 brilliant cut diamonds, the 5 marquee cut diamonds, the 58 baguette cut diamonds, totaling approximately 11.7 carats. The cap crown displays Mont Blanc's trademark white stone, brilliant cut diamonds. The piston-filled pen has 18 karat gold nib that Mont Blanc designed especially for this collaboration.
Yeah, fuck you and your collaboration. These people, the greatest minds in pen making came together, and the world has never been so lucky. I'm looking at the $1.3 million pen now. It's more of a piece of jewelry,
right,
than a writing utensil. It's crusted. I know it's encrusted, but I like saying crusted because it makes me think it's crusted in diamonds, and the nib is 18 karat solid gold, and there's a coat of arms.
Ugly.
It is. No, thank you.
It looks like it'll cut you if you take a hold of it.
See, even a watch. I think expensive watches are somewhat ridiculous, but there's a craftsmanship that goes into them. Like they're they're difficult pieces of machinery to get these things running smoothly and right. And if you can perfect the timekeeping, is it worth it to pay that much money? No, to me, it's not. It's not at all. But to somebody you could say, all right, there's some value there. I know why.
It's jewelry. You're right. It is jewelry.
Well, which one? What are you talking about?
But the pens that you're talking about.
The pens are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, no thanks. But
because the craftsmanship that you're talking about did go into this pen, right, on the outside of it. So you're buying it for a different reason. Like I said, you're not buying it because of the writing, whatever.
It's all piggybacked off of something else. Meaning, a watch tells time. All right, now let's take that and exploit it so we can get a pen. I guess there is, again, I'm a person who can romanticize the idea of a pen, and it serves a purpose and a conduit of getting your thoughts out to the world, and someone exploits that. Okay, you want to do that? Well, here's how you can do it with class. I was like, I don't need class. I don't want your fucking class.
You're not trying to signal anything to anyone.
Give me my S gel. It's got a comfort grip.
Give me my gray, chewed up, soggy pen.
I mean, looking at this collection of pens, though, I do need to go through some of these and throw them away. Oh, here's one of these terrible octagon. Oh, but look at this. This is a Skillcraft U.S. government. I don't know what this is from or why. I'm going to keep that one.
Wow.
U.S. government. Here's a mechanical pencil. I think that's the way to go if you're going to do pencils.
You know what I hate about mechanical pencils? Mechanical pencils.
You can pretend you're shooting up.
Oh, that was always fun. But I always hated when you were writing and they would start like squeaking on the surface of your paper. That was always gave me like, "Bleh."
Yeah. You get those cheap ones, those colorful ones.
Yeah, with like the different colored pen. What are these called? The things that you like lapel, like you put on in your pocket.
Yeah, just like a little clip.
Clip.
I know it probably has a different name, but
Yeah.
so, I guess those are my thoughts on pens. I like them. I like the idea. I would like to use one more. It's something that's going out of style. Will we need them soon? Probably not. We need to sign your name anymore. It was always ridiculous to sign your name anyway. Maybe on a check. But nobody compares these things. The whole point of the signature
we were
was
just talking about that on credit cards. You know how like it used to be like you're supposed to sign the back of your credit card because people ask for your ID and they check it, and it's like nobody fucking does
Also,
that.
if somebody stole your credit card and it was on the back, then they could just copy it. They could figure out how to do it so it looked the same.
Exactly. I never understood that security thing.
It was pointless. Nobody,
And like my parents, if they gave me their credit card right now, I could go out and buy stuff right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping anybody from doing
most
that.
people don't ask, and we've gotten to the point where, especially with the tapping and the chip and all that. Like when I went to London in 2017, we had just gotten the chip, and I was excited, and they were already onto the tap. And then they would always
Oh, they were?
Yeah, and then they would get annoyed too, like, oh, American, you have to sign. And then they would have to print it out, and I have to sign the fucking thing.
Ugh, now I have to do something with this paper.
Well, there's zero need for it. So, will the pen be needed for that? No.
I don't even want to put my PIN in anymore.
Well, I guess you don't really need to outside of ATMs.
And it's always like, hide your PIN. Like, whatever.
You can just press enter if you're using it elsewhere, like a check card.
Oh, because then it's like a credit card, right?
Yeah, you just, no, I'm
runs it as
skipping that.
That's not good for the businesses, though, because they have to pay for credit card usages as opposed to debits, I think.
Do they? It's all the same.
Really?
Well, maybe you're right with the debit. They don't have to pay the fee.
I think different credit cards are more expensive. That's why some places don't accept American Express.
Yeah, their fee is higher. That's true.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking with the debit card, I don't know if there's still a fee attached to it. If it's coming directly out of your account, then no one's fronting the money, and then maybe there isn't. I don't know.
Who knows? It works. I don't know.
I'm sure there is. If any way they can grab some money, they will. They'll get the money. You're going to get even credit cards, the ones that have the high annual fees, and it's made of titanium. And people, this means something to them. I got my metal credit card. It's like, oh, you feel good? You glad you got the metal credit card?
Yeah, you're like, great.
Sure, I think that's cool. A piece of metal, great, but it's not worth that cost.
That means I spend over $300,000 a year on this credit card.
Yeah, the secret Amex Black card that is exclusive and not many people have access to.
I saw it a couple times come through the W. That was neat. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you touched it, and I'm sure the guy thought,
like, ooh, it's metal. It's neat.
I'm sure he thought immediately, he's like, I could have sex with you if I wanted because I have this card, and you couldn't say no.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, I should have sex with this guy because he'll give me stuff with his Black Amex card.
Exactly. It's working the way the people envisioned it.
Yep.
It's perfection. these things. My status is much higher than the chumps you deal with on a regular basis.
Oh, you have a plastic debit card. Isn't that cute? Visa? Mm-hmm. Oh.
I haven't seen a Visa. Oh, honey, look. She has a Visa card. Isn't it so cute? I haven't had a Visa in so long.
Well, you have that really expensive Delta card.
Not anymore.
Okay.
I downgraded. I couldn't afford it anymore.
Well, you weren't going to many lounges anyway.
No, I was, though, for a while.
Yeah, and that was nice access to the lounge.
It was. They should make the access more accessible.
Nope. You can't
All right, well,
you can't
are we
have
good?
common folk in there.
Anything more to say about pens?
No, I was going to say that my thoughts on it, at some point is writing with a pen in public, like the guy who takes the fucking typewriter to the coffee shop. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, probably
No,
not.
I don't think so.
Probably not because it's a bit more portable. The need is disappearing. We still have a need
Yes.
for it, but at some point, it's not going to be. It's a relic. It's going to be a relic. But it's still portable. It's like taking a typewriter to a place. Like you had to put in a lot of effort to do that.
Yeah,
So-
it's heavy.
So yeah, it's a little
You have to have like paper for it.
different.
Yeah, it's different.
Then
But
now-
also, I mean, we all need to learn how to use our hands to write, just for dexterity and like brain functions.
Not
right?
anymore. Talk to your daughter.
Well, she
Well, she likes to draw, but are they teaching her to
she
write?
started cutting. Remember, like she was always cutting paper. That was her biggest thing when she was little. Like she didn't like to color; she liked to cut stuff.
And see where that goes in life. But are they teaching her to write in school?
Yeah,
Okay, that's good that it's still there.
not as much now, because of the virtual learning. I mean, she had a writing book that they had to write in, and we had to take pictures of it, and so it wasn't all typing.
Good. I'm glad it still exists.
Me too. I'm going to teach her cursive if the school doesn't.
Do it. It's worth. I kind of wish I could remember how to do it.
I love writing in cursive. I wish that I could do that type of writing that everyone learned for a long time. You know what I'm talking about? Like where every older person has like the same handwriting because they were all taught the same method.
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know exactly what you're getting at.
Right, writing method used past.
Writing methods used in the past.
I don't know what it's called. My mom knows it.
Okay, well you can.
She's here. I could ask her.
Nah, you can give us an update next week.
Okay. It's called like it's not Myers-Briggs. I know that that's the personality, but it's something like that. Something method.
Next week, give us an update.
All right. Thank you everybody for listening. Like and subscribe, rate and review. Please tell your friends about this nice podcast. It's so nice to listen to. And don't you love us? Tell your friends. Also support our sponsor, hoffandpepper.com. You can use our code OneTopic15 for 15% off. And they have some sales going on, I think, for 4th of July. So go check them out. hoffandpepper.com. See you next week. Bye.